Hello, this is Mary Ruberry with Revelate. And as promised, here is the next video in my series. This one is focused on emotions. Oh yes, another really huge topic. So I just wanted to talk briefly about the series that I'm in. So this is the third in the series for February. The first was How to Manifest New Earth. The last one was the mind, and here comes emotions. Next week is ego, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I would like you to watch these in sequence because the mind needs to be cleared in order to tackle emotions. We'll talk a little bit about that. So the bottom line purpose of everything is to live as pure love, with a mind of clear light that's progressing ever higher on our spiritual journey. And so that's my goal, is to help you experience yourself as your true nature, which is peace, love, and light. But as we all know, there's stuff that gets in the way of that goal. Yes, of course, I want to live as pure peace, love, and light. And then there's reality of life and relationships and data and paying the bills and all of those other realities. So today we're going to do a guided meditation at the end of this talk to help us become more peaceful with our emotions, our thoughts, and yes, our gut. You heard it, your gut. Okay, we're going to talk more about that. So because emotions tend to be messy, they tend to be tricky. That's why we start with clearing the mind, talking about the mind, training the mind, seeing what's going on up in there, because the mind is like the living room of a hoarder, right? If it's cluttered with stuff, you can't really see the light. It gets in the way of our expressing our light, of sharing our light, of shining our light. And that's why we need to start by clearing the mind. And I use the term of thinking of it, images from Star Trek, right? You're out in outer space and it's clear and open. And that's the nature of the mind that we want to grab as often as we can. We want to hold that place as much as possible. Last week, I attended a gathering of a spiritual group. Actually, I do this all the time, different groups. And there was considerable discussion among the group, people who were assembled. And it really struck me that, people were sharing and talking about, well, maybe there's in reincarnation. What do you think about that? Oh, that's kind of cool. And I've been going to some talks and that's really been cool. And it's really been fun. Like I've really been going around and, oh, hey, I know you. Oh gosh, it's so good to see you. And that's great. But it struck me that a lot of people dabble with spirituality. They think it's fun and that's great. Fine. Enjoy it. Of course, enjoy it. We're here to be joyful. However, I wanted to point out that my talks and messages are aimed at those who are spiritually ambitious, who strive to achieve and move forward in a very real way, not just dabbling. Of course, it's great to get together with people, to join with others. It's a beautiful thing. However, do we want to just stay there in that kind of middle range of, oh, this is really cool, let's check it out, that's kind of fun? Or do we want to take it further and truly ascend on our spiritual journey? Do we really want to evolve? Because this is real. That's what mindfulness is. I'm here in this moment. You're here watching this video in this moment. This is real. And what do we want to do with ourselves? Do we want to aspire to greater, or do we just want to kind of have fun and dabble and it's really cool and everything? So and with that in mind, I wanted to point out that When we walk our spiritual path, we do that alone. Of course, you can have a wonderful partner. You can have best friends. You can have a wonderful family. But as we evolve, we do that alone. When we ascend to new heights, new dimensions, and when we complete our journey on Earth and ascend from Earth, we do this alone. And a lot of people have a hard time, that whole concept of being alone, doing it solo. It's not socially acceptable. So again, let's go back to what we talked to in the mind video. Let's look at some of these biases, some of these belief systems that we grew up in. We don't even recognize it because we think it's part of us, but it's not. It's a belief system that we grew up in or bought into, or that we hold dearly because we think it's us. So I've been studying Buddhism for a bunch of years, and I draw extensively on those insights and structures while always leaning on and staying connected to higher truths. So you may say, what are those higher truths? Well, I will be calling what I will be doing a video in the March series. The first one is focused on what I'm calling the basics. And that is addressing those higher truths, those ultimate truths, including the etheric body, that physical body that gives us health, generates our energy. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, as well as just some really basic parts of what are we. And it just helps to clarify terminology and to make sure everyone is approaching the information I'm imparting from the same proverbial page. So the rest of the March series will be taking refuge in oneself. That's right, taking refuge in oneself. That's March 12th. Owning it, stepping up to being a leader and stepping into one's responsibility. That's March 19. And then on March 26, I'll be talking about building joy. Of course, I'd love to hear from you, your ideas, your suggestions, requests. Please let me know. So from this point, I'm selecting topics and covering topics that are based on what it appears to me people need, particularly in Western cultures. So I'm focusing this mainly on modern Western cultures, and hoping that you can relate and get something out of this. So, as I said, I'm always talking on Zoom or going to be part of spiritual groups, and I'm struck by how emotional people get when you talk about emotions. Maybe that's not surprising, but I'm always amazed by that myself. So people have been saying things like, you need to sit with your anger. You need to sit with your fear. Well, that's okay. But as my California minister used to say, it's okay to walk through the valley of the shadow of death. But do you really want to camp there? Do you really want to stay with that? Or do you want to be released from these conflictive emotions? Buddhists use the term samsara, to describe the destructive life patterns and conflictive emotions that we tend to stew in, that we tend to be wrapped in like some sort of unwieldy cocoon that we can't break out of. We know there is plenty of samsara in the world, but how can we each liberate ourselves from these destructive emotional patterns? And that's what we're talking about today. I do hear people when they get upset about describing emotions in a negative light. I get that, because after all, emotions are one of human superpowers. It's an absolute superpower. We've all experienced the incredible power of emotions. When you're blinded with rage, you're gripped by fear, you're incapacitated by sadness. That's really powerful. And yes, it's true that apparently Jesus grew angry with the money changers. And we know there are instances when anger and sadness are justified and appropriate. But remember, when you're angry or lost in sadness. Love is blocked. And remember what our true natures are. We are love. We are here to express love. We are here to share love. We are here to tap into love. And when you're angry, your love it's blocked, like a big wall is right there. So, do you want to master your superpower, or let your superpower control you and your life? Do you want to camp and remain saddled by conflictive emotions that run you around in endless circles of samsara? Similar to what I described in my talk about the mind, the first step is to become acquainted with how conflicted emotions affect you. How do these emotions keep you in unhealthy patterns? Much of our unhealthy emotions are initially derived from our outside world, our society, and societal beliefs. I feel sad because I'm not fulfilling the image that society dictates as desirable. I'm depressed because I don't own a house. I don't make enough money. I don't feel I'm respected. I don't have what my society believes I should have in order to be seen as successful. I don't feel powerful, loved, liked. People say mean things about me. So there's a lot that's coming from the outside world that we let infect us, infiltrate us, our inner life, and that we're reflecting off of as if it's us. But remember, it's not us. We are pure love. Each of us is pure love. Sometimes our conflictive emotions come from our own patterns, but in other instances, the way we are treated by others can cause these dark emotions, anger, the feeling of less than, being a victim. We blame others for one's own securities and what are termed failings. We point our fingers and we say, look at what that person did to me. Look at what that person did. Okay, and so that's where you're focusing on the outside. You're focusing on others. You're focusing on what others think or their actions or their beliefs, rather than looking at yourself and your beauty and your majesty and the glory of you and the beautiful light that you are deep within, that is your true nature. And so this is where it's essential to return to oneself, going within, spending time meditating, contemplating, creating art, going in nature. All these activities are beneficial for each of us on our spiritual journey. So this first step of recognizing one's own patterns of conflictive emotions is huge. Not everyone would bother. Most people are content running around in their circles, their circles of samsara, encountering endless problems, hurt feelings, anger, jealousy, etc., that then produce these unhealthy lifestyle patterns, including drugs, alcohol, sex, shopping, and avoidance of exercise, and also avoiding being out in nature. We act like it's a chore. Oh, I got to go out in nature and get some sun. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. We are nature. It's not that we need to be part of it. We are, and we just need to immerse ourselves in that part, which is our true nature. Again, going back to what we are. We are nature. We are nature. We need to be part of that and stay there. So, of course, sex is great. Having a glass of wine with dinner with friends is lovely. So I'm not saying that shopping and these other things are in and of themselves bad, but that if we depend on them to fill the void and dull the pain, that's when these unhealthy patterns get established. And as probably all of us know, these unhealthy patterns are challenging to break, right? How do we break out of these patterns? I go to work all day, I come home, I drink a bunch of beer or whatever it is. I sit on the sofa, I watch TV, and I just block out the world. Okay, well, if you're really exhausted, maybe that's a great thing. But to do that every single day, maybe that's not for your highest good. And so this is where purity comes in. Um, so usually in Western culture, we think purity. I don't know about that. You're pure, like, is that like a sexual term? Or what do you mean pure? Um, and so let's get a little comfortable with this term. There's nothing wrong with purity, right? Um, we think about diet. So yeah, I need to eat a pure diet. I need to do some detoxing and be pure. We want our food to be pure so it can give us greater health and vitality. We want our air to be pure so it doesn't make us sick. However, purity in a larger sense is when we clear out the junk in our minds. We consciously connect our loving hearts to our mind and free ourselves from conflictive emotions, right? So this is a process of purity. It isn't like you can flip a switch. Oh, I got it. So it may take a little time. It may take a little effort, but if we focus there, we can clear the junk out of our minds and achieve greater purity in our hearts, in our minds, in our aspirations, in our goals, in our actions, in our thoughts. Okay, purity is not something to be scorned and looked down on. It's actually a really good thing. And when we walk through that process of purity, our true nature can shine forth. The love that is you shines forth through this process. So purity doesn't mean you're a goody two shoes or a Pollyanna. You can still be funky and have fun and enjoy your life with all the gusto you want. Go for it. But it just means that you've cleared out the mind. You've cleared out these conflictive emotions. They're not controlling you. Now you are mastering yourself. You are mastering your innate resources. It's unrealistic to think that this will happen overnight. And to achieve this beautiful state of love and clear light, we need to apply ourselves. We need to dedicate ourselves to achieving significant steps in our lives. Remember that we are all connected. We are all one. So when you use your most profound sense of patience and aspire to spiritually advance in a very real way, not dabbling here, not just going because it's fun, but actually doing this work, you are helping all of humanity. So you're not just helping yourself, because you absolutely are, but you are helping everyone else in the collective. You are helping everything else on our planet. You are helping the planet herself. You are helping all the beings connected to Earth. You are helping the universe. So this is no small thing to make this effort, to take these steps, to sort out the skeins of your thoughts, your emotions, to sort it all out and to clear out any parts that are destructive or not helpful. So none of this clearing will occur if you remain in your present pattern of samsara, these unhealthy patterns and beliefs, accepting that these patterns are, just the way it is. I'm encouraging you with every fiber in my being to take this spiritual journey, not only for yourself and your loved ones, but to benefit everyone, everything. So let's recap. Our true nature is love. That's what we are. And the point of spiritual ambition is to live our lives as our true and highest self. Emotions are a superpower of humans. So, with this incredible superpower, who is in charge? Are your emotions in charge, or are you in charge? Do you want to free yourself from conflictive emotions and the havoc that they wreak. The first step in freeing oneself of conflictive emotions is to recognize these emotions, what they are, and how you're affected by them. And part of this is understanding the belief systems that you hold. This is a crucial part because this is, again, unraveling these skeins that are wound around you in this knot of this cocoon that you've lived in. So now you say, what are these unhealthy patterns? What are these conflictive emotions? How are they affecting me? How are they manifesting in my life? What patterns do I see in my life that are derived from these belief systems and these conflictive emotions? So when you look at your life and you say, oh, there's certain things you want to change. I really want to change my diet. I really want to make sure that I have a clean or pure diet, so I feel better. I want to stop eating the junk. I'm eating a lot of junk food, a lot of greasy food. Okay, so when you have those thoughts, that's like a signal to yourself that here's something you want to change, right? So you've been having these thoughts. I really need to lose weight. I need to get out. I need to exercise more, right? I need to do that. But are you doing that? Okay, so you're talking to yourself, you're coaching yourself, but you're not breaking that pattern of, I come home from work, I sit on the couch, I watch some TV, I eat some food, and then I get up the next day and I go to work. So these unhealthy patterns start with your ambition, your motivation. Nobody can do this for you. You're walking this path alone, and you need to make these changes for yourself. And so another crucial element is wanting to free yourself of this cycle, this cyclic samsara, the plague of unhealthy emotions and their associated unhealthy patterns that you see in your life. To change any pattern, you must really want to make the change. You must be sick of it. I'm sick of samsara. I don't want to live this way anymore. I want to be free. I want to liberate myself. I want to be clear joy, clear light. I don't want these emotions affecting me. And I know for myself, it takes sort of a stubbornness, as if you're creating this wall and you're saying, okay, I'm not going to let emotions come through this wall. No, I'm impervious. No, I'm over here. I've got my bubble of light. I'm glowing. I'm radiant. I'm full of love. I'm blissed out. And I won't allow these emotions to infiltrate. Okay, so it takes some of that stubbornness on your part. So you must dedicate yourself to go through the steps of this purification I'm talking about. Purify your mind, purify your thoughts, clear out the junk that's up there, clear it all out, clear out those loops, those looping patterns, those critical thoughts, and also clear out these conflictive emotions and their power over you. So it's not comfortable to feel jealousy, to envy someone else. That's not a good feeling. But what is a good feeling is love. And that's your innate nature. So it's just a matter of walking through these steps of being diligent, of being vigilant and watching what's going on in your mind and how these emotions are affecting you, and being determined that they're not going to be part of you. Because if you remain as you are, you won't make any significant changes. You have to be determined. You have to make up your mind that you are going to do this for yourself, for humanity, for the world, and for the universe. You must put these pieces together, those crucial pieces, and cut away any parts that don't serve your highest good, right? Do you want a bunch of junk? It's just like, think about food. If somebody threw a bunch of mud on top of your pasta, would you want to eat that? Well, is that what's in your head? Is that what's in your mind? Is there a bunch of goop up there that maybe isn't smelling good and looking good and you don't really want it up there? Well, then you've got to clear it out. You've got to take the steps. You've got to take the steps to purify yourself. And the best way to stay focused on this process is by going within, by incessantly connecting there, so you don't mix yourself up with the activities, energies, beliefs, and patterns of the outside world. We all know that's easy to fall into. You have your friends, for instance, and they think a certain way. They have a certain belief system. And if you don't buy into it, if you don't agree with it, maybe they think you're being weird, or maybe they don't think you're cool. And maybe you want them to think you're cool because you think it's important that those people's opinions matters. But does it? As you walk your journey on your own, how can you go alone? Doesn't mean you don't have friends. It doesn't mean you don't have colleagues. You don't have comrades. You don't have loving family. But ultimately, we all need to go through this process alone. That's the bottom line. And so pleasing others, fitting into belief systems that aren't us, doesn't result in any benefit to you. So by continually returning to you and your true nature, this becomes ever stronger, this mighty core of you. And what I mean by this when I'm saying that is, so throughout the day, you have to do this, you have to do that, you've got to meet with so-and-so, and then you've got to do some work, and then you've got to, pick up the kids, and then you have to, make dinner, and then you've got to, so there's all these things that are up in your mind that you think, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do that. That's fine. That's life. We know that's how it works, right? We've all got to do that stuff. Hey, if you don't do laundry, it's not pretty. It's not a pretty picture, right? You got to do some laundry now and again. You got to take a shower now and again, right? So that's all great. But with that, remember to hold onto that core of you. So it's based on your true beliefs, those higher truths, not the belief systems you bought into that we were all raised in, but the belief of you. I am a being of light. I am a great and glorious infinite being with unlimited wisdom and knowledge. So we need to tell ourselves this because we have to be our own coach. We have to help ourselves go through this process and walk with ourselves on this path that no one else can help us with. It doesn't mean you don't read books, you don't go to talks, you don't go to spiritual groups. As I said, I'm in a whole bunch of different groups, and I love talking to people about spiritual matters, but it doesn't mean that what somebody says is something that I will believe in. So one of the groups last weekend I was part of, was it 2 weekends ago? There was someone saying, you have to sit with your anger and justifying anger and all of that. And I thought it was so interesting because this person is so angry. It's just, you can just see this rage as if it's going to just explode any minute. Like, how can it all be held in there? This incredible anger this person apparently doesn't seem to be aware of. And then in the next breath said she's a healer. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So she's healing others with all that rage. And, it's so interesting when you hear people who have these intense conflictive emotions that, just kind of pours out of them. They could also can tell you about all the problems they have in their lives. Right. And some of them are really weird. Like, wow, that's incredible. Like, these people did these horrible things to you, and they moved in and they trashed something and they didn't pay the rent and all these awful things, because that's what you're sowing in the world. Right. When I I mean, sowing a seeds. What kind of seeds are we sowing? Are we sowing seeds of love? Are we sowing seeds of anger? Are we sowing seeds of envy? What are the seeds that we sow in the world? Because that's what we're going to have. We are the ultimate co-creators, the predominant co-creators of our reality. What reality do you want to live in? Do you want to live in anger, fear, frustration, problems, hurt feelings? Do you want to live in love and peace and joy? These are your choices at every single moment, because that's what mindfulness is. I am here in this moment. I am love in this moment. I am bliss in this moment. And this is that mighty core I refer to, that you don't allow that core to be shaken. So somebody does something terrible to you, or somebody says something about you, or a driver cuts you off in traffic, but you're going to hold to that mighty core of you and not be shaken. You hold to this sacred place and don't be concerned by what's going on out there, what people say about you. That's not your concern. Your concern is what you're producing. What are you making? What seeds are you planting in the world, in our reality, in the collective that we all share? What are you planting? What are you putting out there? So I hope that hit home with you. I know it sounds like I'm giving you a lot of homework. Okay, then you gotta do that, then you gotta do that, and then you gotta do that. Oh, don't forget about that, right? Because that's how it works. This is life. We gotta put in the work if we want the results, if we want to liberate ourselves from samsara, if we want to achieve enlightenment, we gotta put in the work. You have to put in the work. It's not somebody else isn't going to help you. You go to somebody's talk and you think, oh, this person's really cool. I really like that stuff. Well, that's great. And maybe it helps you on your journey. But that person and that philosophy cannot do the work for you. You have to do it. You have to own up to your true nature. You have to own up to your own junk, your own garbage, your own set of conflictive emotions and how they affect you, and those resultant patterns that we see in life. I mean, when we see people who are drug addicts or alcoholics, I mean, that's not a healthy pattern. That's not going to get you to being a radiant being, because we have these physical bodies that we have to take care of. And these physical bodies are part of our divine journey. And that's what I'm going to talk about now. In particular, what I'm going to talk about is the gut. That's right, the gut, your tummy, your belly, your colon, your innards, whatever you want to, however you want to frame that, your digestive tract. Because our digestive tract really seems to fit with emotions, because a lot of our emotions and the toxins our toxic emotions produce go into our gut. And so by clearing our gut and caring for our gut, we can help our bodies to be more in tune with these beautiful, glorious energies that we want to be part of and we want to manifest. So I see the gut as a much underappreciated and largely ignored major part of our bodies, right? How often do you sit around with your friends and talk about guts? Hey, look at that. You ever think about your gut and what's going on in there? Because we don't want to talk about that. It's kind of gross, and there's gross stuff going on, and I don't know if it looks good, and maybe it doesn't even smell good. I'm not sure. Maybe it could smell bad in there. I don't know what's going on. We don't see it, so we just ignore it. But the gut is part of our bodies, right? We say we have a gut feeling. I've got butterflies in my stomach. We can be gripped by fear. We can feel our stomachs, our bellies clench with emotions, with rage, with fear. People talk about that you feel it in your gut. You feel it clenching. So I'd like to tie your gut to your emotions in the quest for achieving a greater sense of peace for yourself. Oh, no, I'm serious. It's not a joke. Okay. I've had a lot of gut stuff, starting with when I was 7 and had 3 stomach ulcers. Oh, I won't tell you the whole long story, There's a lot. So that's why I've learned about the gut, your digestive system, and how it's tied to emotions, or conflictive emotions, I should say. So, the gut has kind of, it's kind of treated irrespectfully. It's not treated very well in our society. We talk about, the beer belly. And we all know, we go to the beach, or we go to a pool, and everybody's trying to suck in their stomach. No, that's not protruding. No, that part of me, oh no, that doesn't stick out at all. And I've seen people who literally look like they're really holding their breath. Their face is turning blue, because you don't want your gut to be hanging out. And so we have a lot of negative ideas and concepts related to our guts, instead of seeing that if we don't have a healthy gut, how are we going to survive? Because we need food, and that is the system through which the food we take in is turned into fuel to run our lives, to run our bodies. And so by caring for our gut, we care for ourselves. So I want to take a minute to connect our gut, our digestive tract, with our heart and mind. Okay. So we're going to walk through, you might think of it as a meditation, but I see it more of like an exercise of light. And I want to give this to you that you can use on your own. And of course, this isn't just, limited to your gut. You can use this exercise of light with anything. You can put light anywhere. You can put light around another person if they're having a hard time, if someone is ill, if you're having a rough time, if you've injured part of your body. You can use this divine, beautiful light of you. It's a great way to heal. So let's close our eyes, and please put your feet flat on the floor. And I've been in so many workshops where my instinct was to cross my knees, and people always say, put your feet flat on the floor. And the reason is because then the energy can move more easily through your body. Okay, so if we cross our legs, we cross our feet, then the energy is sort of constricted, or it is constricted. Okay, so put your feet flat so that your body's nice in alignment. You just relax, close your eyes, and rest your hands gently on your tummy. You might take a little cleansing breath so you can clear any worries. If you've had a busy day, you've had something bothering you, something's been on your mind. Just breathe. Feel how your body moves up and down, in and out with each breath. Now I want you to see white circles of light that are wrapped around your digestive tract in a perpendicular pattern. So it's a series of circles of light that are lined up around your gut, and they're moving. They can be, if you want them to look more like loops or ovals, it doesn't really matter. Circles, whatever works for you. But see your gut surrounded this beautiful flow of energy, and just feel that. Feel the warmth, feel the love, feel the caring, feel the health of this energy wrapping around your gut. Now I want you to take that light, keep those circles in place, and I want you to send it in a channel straight up your body to your heart center, which is right here. Right here. It's your heart center. So go ahead and send that white light up like a channel up into your heart. Keep breathing easily and feeling those circles of light around your digestive tract, around your gut. And connect that light up into your heart center. And feel your heart center open with that light. Feel that love. Feel that beautiful light of you. Keep those circles going. Keep them going. Breathe down into your tummy. Make sure it's nice and easy. It's gentle. Now I'd like to take you to take that energy, that channel, that column of light from your heart center, keeping all that light going on, the circles around your gut, leading up to your heart. Now take it further up into your mind so that your gut and your heart and your mind are connected with this beautiful white light. This beautiful white light of love. It is your energy, your beautiful white light of love. Keep those rings of light around your tummy. Keep your heart connected. Keep your mind. Now keep all of that going on, and I'd like you to take your light and send it around your entire body, from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Wrap yourself in this beautiful light, the warm, beautiful blanket of love. Wrap yourself in this beautiful light. Feel how beautiful it feels, how comforting, how all your worries and concerns are completely forgotten while you stay here in this place of bliss, peace, and ease. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes or not. You can just stay there in that beautiful place of bliss and love. While you're doing this, you can also use some affirmations to say to yourself, I am love. I am light. I am peace. I am truth and power. I am beautiful. I am sacred. I am divine. I am all-knowing. I possess unlimited wisdom within me. And keep checking back with your gut to make sure it's relaxed, to make sure it feels this profound peace and bliss. And I give you this exercise that you can use anytime. It might come in really handy in a moment of stress or fear. If you're feeling threatened, check in with your gut. Is it feeling tense? Are you holding unhealthy energy there? Keep circling your gut with this beautiful light of love. breathe into your tummy and make sure that it's not gripped by any conflictive emotions. Thank you so much for being part of my talk today about emotions and the gut. I know there's a lot to take in. There's a lot of homework to walk away with. And I'm sure you're appreciative that all of this is being given to you at no financial cost. All you need to take advantage of my instructive videos is time, attention, and an aspirational desire to achieve spiritually. So thank you again for joining this talk, and I look forward to the next video, which, as I said, is focused on ego. And you might be a little surprised by what I will talk about ego. So you'll have to tune in to see what my focus about ego is. Just as you may not have expected a talk about emotions would even touch upon your gut. Okay, I'm not really touching your gut, but touching upon such a strange seeming topic. I want you to achieve. I want you to progress, because that helps me. That helps everyone. When people make significant progress, we are all benefited. So keep that in mind. When you're feeling like you don't want to be bothered, remember, you're helping everyone else. So it's no small task. Thank you again. My infinite blessings go with you. My wishes for great love, great health, and a great time. Take care. Oh, and if you want to find out more about my work, you can go to my website, maryruberry.com. Check you later. Bye.